Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here for another Wine Wednesday. Hey, I'm Christian Laroche, sales manager for Waldorf Wine Group here in British Columbia. And I'm so glad you could join us here on Instagram. Wine Wednesday, as the name implies, this is something we've been doing pretty much every Wednesday since May of 2020. It's our way of pivoting online and bringing some great Waldorf Wine Group content here to Instagram. We look at wines that we currently have in the market. We look at some samples from time to time that we're looking at bringing into the market. We talk about any promos that we might be doing, any events we might be having, and yeah, basically everything under the Waldorf Wine Group umbrella. For those of you not familiar, Waldorf Wine Group, we're a small family-owned company importing European wines into British Columbia and Alberta since 1993. And we're led by our illustrious leader, Andy Waldorf, still firmly at the helm. And yeah, I've been here for about 20 years. I'm a lifer, so I'm glad to be on board. And glad you could join us here. If you have not done so already, I do invite you to follow us here on Instagram. Many have, many will. And we've got some very loyal followers. Good to see you, David Lancelot. Join us here each week. Very happy to see you here. What's going on? Hey, before we start, yesterday was the CAPS BC sommelier competition here, best sommelier of BC competition that happened at Rogers Arena. And yeah, I just want to raise a glass first and foremost to the community of sommeliers that we have here in British Columbia. Great, passionate group of super knowledgeable wine people. It's a great community, very collaborative, very supportive. But at the end of the day, this year, I raise a glass to Andrew Forsyth from Abattoir, who is our BC Sommelier of the Year for 2025. Yes, he's going to wear the cork tiara this year. So yeah, he's the wine director at L'Abattoir here in Vancouver. We've been dealing with Abattoir since they've opened. Great place to go, and Andrew's been knocking at the door for the last couple of years. So it's good to see him climb the mountain and wear the, like I said, wear the cork tiara for us here in British Columbia. So I wish him well in his year as Sommelier of the Year, and wish him all good things. What are we doing this week? Well, you know what? We are looking at some of our one of our core wines and one of our core wineries. We have been bringing in wines from the Loire Valley, and in particular, we've been bringing wines in from the Loire Alliance, the Alliance Loire, which is a group of 7 different growers associations who joined forces back at the turn of the millennium around 2001. And what they are is they make really fantastic price quality wines, regional wines throughout the Loire Valley. And they make everything and anything. And my running commentary was they make everything in the Loire Valley except Sancerre. Now they're offering a Sancerre, so they make pretty much everything throughout the Loire Valley. So it's great to see. We've been bringing their wines into market here in British Columbia and Alberta for many, many years. And these are really great bang for the buck wines. These are superb bistro wines. They're great if you're a small wine shop and you want to bring in something cool and a wee bit different that does not cost very much money at all. It just gives you a really good representation of either a grape or an area. And yeah, as I say, we've been bringing these wines in for, gosh golly, for about since we started, basically over 20 years now here into British Columbia. And the wine that we're trying today, I think, is a bit of I wouldn't call it a wolf in sheep's clothing, but it's an unsung hero It's something that doesn't get the respect it deserves, but I think this is one of those grapes, especially that definitely has a bright future. I think a lot of people don't know this grape as well as they should. It's a chameleon grape because it makes a variety of styles, everything from bone dry to half dry to super sweet dessert wines and even sparkling wines. And regardless of the style, this wine always has a bit of a hallmark style: crisp, 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 juicy, crunchy acidity, and beautiful appley honeyed fruit as well too. So I'm going to flip the camera and show what we're talking about. We're talking Chenin Blanc from the Loire Valley. Yes, indeedy, Ali Shady. This is Saumur Les Pouches single vineyard wine from 2022. This is one of our core wines. We always have a good amount of this wine in stock. It's a little bit of an unsung hero. We love to offer this wine to, private wine shops here in British Columbia and Alberta, and also to restaurants. And what this is, it's a hand sell. A lot of people don't know the grape. Look at the label here. Do you see anywhere here where it actually says Chenin Blanc? No, because the French appellation contrôlée laws are all about origin. So this is from Saumur. What the heck is a Saumur? For a lot of people, they don't know what that is. Well, you know what? This is 100% Chenin Blanc done in a dry style. Well, if we turn the label around to the back label, 100% Chenin Blanc, and you get the whole backstory, and so unfortunately, we've been kind of working against this, so to speak, and sometimes we actually call this the back label. We'll register the wine as a back label, and we'll get the grape on here. So if it said 100% Chenin Blanc, I think our sales would go through the roof. But it's a bit of a hand sell still because a lot of people don't know what the heck Chenin Blanc is. As we mentioned, Chenin Blanc is a really cool chameleon grape, like I said, because you can do just about anything with it, but it still retains a little bit of that hallmark style. Now, tracing the grape's history, we know that it has been traced back. Its origins have been traced back to at least the 9th century in and around Anjou. And then it traveled outwards from there throughout the Loire Valley, going to Toul and other areas. But it has been identified as a relative. I believe the parent grape to this is Savagnin from the Jura region. And it also has a relation to both Trousseau and Sauvignon Blanc as well. So that's interesting. It's funny. The wine is probably better known for some of its place names. We talk about Anjou, Saumur, Vouvray, and the like. But a lot of people don't know that it's Chenin Blanc, basically, either done in a dry, a half-dry style, a sparkling style. A lot of people are learning about this grape by experimentation with it. And we love to offer this wine or this interpretation of this grape to places. Let's say you're a wine shop or a restaurant and your customers love, say, Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc, but they want to try something different, but not too different. This is a great lateral transfer wine because it's light, crisp. It's got really nice acidity, but it's got a beautiful flavor profile. Now, the wine that we're trying today, this weighs in at a whopping 11.5% alcohol. So it's a dry wine. Technically, it's a dry wine. And you know what? I do not pick up a lot of residual sugar at all on this wine. I do notice a little bit of a slightly honeyed texture, but I think that has more to do with the grape than anything else. But we're going to get into it a wee bit too. We're going to talk about soil here too, because we're in the land of tuffeau limestone, chalky, soft limestone soil with actually a little tiny bit of blue flint in it as well too. Underneath a topsoil of clay and loam as well. But this is the classic interpretation of Loire Valley, Central Loire Valley dry Chenin Blanc. So you get all that green apple, you get all that honey, that beautiful crisp acidity. And, these are perfect, inexpensive bistro wines, daily drinkers. You can do anything with them on their own. They're wonderful if you're having a large gathering of people. You want to try something different, but not too different, not too out there. I mean, these are crowd pleasers. This is what the line of wines from the Loire Alliance, Alliance Loire, is all about. Supremely fair priced wines that over deliver for the money. And we love these wines, especially now in January when Christmas credit card bills are coming in. You need wines like these. Hey, and especially now when the tariffs, might kick in and people want to boycott American wines. We're sitting pretty here. We only bring in European wines. So talk to us, please. Anyway, but getting back to it, dry Chenin Blanc in the form of Saumur les Pouches. Like I said, it's a super versatile wine, either on its own, with or without food. If you're having a cocktail party, a brunch, a wedding, or anything like that too, it's a great wine when people drop in. You should always keep a bottle in the fridge. But this is sort of wine I call a bistro wine, or what I've called before, a drinker, not a thinker. And there's nothing wrong with that because, how often you go places where people, fuss and, overanalyze the wine. Sometimes you just want something yummy in the glass, and, the measure of the wine is, do I want another glass? And sometimes that's all we need. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this has got a little bit of a point of differentiation. As I mentioned, too, this will appeal to people who like light, crisp wines, low alcohol, full flavor. And it's a sort of wine that you can experiment with. If you've never tried a Saumur, you can walk into. This wine is represented all over the province. We've had it in stock. We always keep good quantity in stock, but it's sort of wine you can check out at a variety of private wine shops all over the province. We've had this in the market for years and years and years and years. And like I said, it's a cool wine to experiment with if you want to try something a wee bit different, but not too different. Maybe we should get into it a little bit too, talking about it. So as mentioned, this is from the Loire Alliance. This is a group, a collaboration of 7 different growers, cellars that joined forces back in 2001, making wines from all over the Loire Valley. Currently, we're bringing some wines into the BCLDB stores. Most of the wines, though, are only available as restricted speculative products. So that means they're only available at private wine shops and restaurants. We bring in the Saumur les Pouches, the dry Chenin Blanc, but we also bring in a red version, Saumur les Épinards, a Lieu-dit single vineyard wine, 100% Cabernet Franc, very different from British Columbia Cabernet Franc, leaner, more savory, pleasant bitterness. We also bring in a Vallée Loire Touraine Sauvignon Blanc, lean, grassy Sauvignon Blanc, light years away. It is not anything like Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. It is not tropical. It's lean and savory. We also bring in some really cool sparkling wines, traditional methods, secondary fermentation bottle like they do in Champagne. I shouldn't say that. But secondary fermentation in bottle, Crémant de Loire, we bring in one at the BCLDB, a Rosé Brut version done from Cabernet Franc. That's your Valentine's Day wine. And also a sparkling traditional method dry Chenin Blanc, Brut Chenin Blanc, with a little dollop of Chardonnay de Champigny. To give you an idea, that is our high water mark The rosé at BCLDB is $28.49 a bottle. So that gives you an idea what sort of value these wines offer. This might be a good time to get into where we are looking at. So let's pull the bottle out of shot and maybe pull up our Google Earth map. We are in the Loire Valley, so we're, of course, southwest of Paris, about 289 kilometers southwest of Paris. So basically, the Loire River exits out into the Atlantic here around Nantes. This is the area where Muscadet wine is made. But the Loire River basically flows from there a little bit northeast to Angers, where the Anjou wines come from, and then continues through the central Loire to Tours, where the Touraine wines come from. Well, in between there is the town of Saumur, right along the banks of the Loire River. And then just south of Saumur is the village of Saint-Cyr-en-Bourg, and that's where the headquarters of the Loire Alliance is, down here. And as I say, they make wines all throughout the Loire Valley, everything and anything throughout the Loire Valley. But for our purposes today, we're a little bit southwest. We are down around here, basically around the medieval town of Montreuil-Bellay and Méron. And just a little bit west of Méron, here around Chaumont, are the vineyards down here. This little patchwork quilt here. But it's an 8-hectare vineyard. Average age of the vines is 40 years old. This is 100% Chenin Blanc, cold fermented in stainless steel, and it rests on its lease for about 3 to 4 months. What else can I tell you? You know what? Let's pull another shot up. Here you go. This gives you a good shot of the vineyards, and we're talking here about half a meter of clay, and then below that goes down for about 15 meters or so. This is the tuffeau, chalky limestone soil, soft soil that they have dug out the cellars for a lot of the wineries here in the Loire Valley. In fact, they dug out caves and homes for people in the soft tuffeau line. So I'm just going to pan down a wee bit here, show you another look at their very beautiful sunset shot of the vineyards there, looking on towards Montreuil-Bellay. As I said, this is a great alternative for people who generally drink Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio, but want to try something a wee bit different, but not too different. This wine comes also bottled completely. It's a nice package, actually. Bottled in full Stelvin closure screw cap, so you're never going to have any issues with a cork. Easy access as well. 2022 vintage. We've had this. We loaded up on this. It's a great vintage, drinking really well right now. And again, too, this is sort of wine that you're not going to age for any significant length of time. It's drinking young and fresh right now. This might well be a good time to give the wine a try. This is another high acid wine. It's the sort of wine I always make this comment. Before the meal, we tend to drink our white wines too cold or red wines too warm. So I would say at least 15-20 minutes before the meal, pull your white wine out of the fridge, put your red wine in the fridge, especially as we get later into the season, back into the spring, summer months where it heats up and people are still dining a little bit, start to dine a little bit more al fresco. You don't want a hot red wine, and you don't want a numb white wine either, because I find with the white wines, they tend to unfold, and then by the time they get to a good drinking temperature, you got none left. So give it a bit of a head start, please, especially with those higher acid white wines, Mosel Riesling, Loire Valley Chenin Blanc, any crisp, dry whites. So yeah, this wine's been out of the fridge now for about 15, 20 minutes. 2022 vintage. We're still looking at a fairly pale straw color. Let's give the wine a swirl and a sniff. I'm using my branded. This is a Riedel Riesling Chianti glass. I like it. It's about a 12, 14 ounce bowl. It's not too big. It's not one of those fish bowls on a stick type of wine glasses. But it gives the wine a little bit of air too. So let's give it a swirl and a sniffy sniff. Woo! Okay. Definitely picking up on that textbook Loire Valley Chenin Blanc, green apple, almost verging into a little bit more towards golden delicious apple, and a little bit of pear notes, definitely getting the honey, a little bit of herb in there too. Picking up also a little bit almost like a talc note to it as well too. Let's yeah, maybe just a little whiff of almost like a paraffin wax. It's not like aged Chenin Blanc can pick up a little bit of that wet wool or paraffin wax character as well too. This certainly is not aged. I mean, 2022 is still young and fresh. Let's pick it up and see what it tastes like. Mmm. 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 Lovely snap of acidity in the finish. That's really interesting. I wasn't expecting that wine really fanned out on the mid palate. Definitely picking up again that honeyed note on the tip of my tongue, but as it washes over, light, medium bodied, definitely medium plus acidity on that wine. But I like that too because it's got a really lovely mouthfeel. Slightly mouth coating. I'm picking up again a little bit sort of that sort of waxy texture, but then the acidity kicks in, really gets it on the side of my mouth. I'm going to have one more sip if I may, please. Mm. 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 Lovely. Lighter style wine. This is a great seafood wine. I like this wine too with pan-seared scallops, browned with a little bit of sweetness to the flesh. Great wine with that. This is a fantastic wine with chèvre, goat's cheese. You have a goat cheese salad or something like that. We used to have it before with deep fried pepper salt squid with green chilies. Fabulous dish, cut through the saltiness. I've had it before with nachos. It's a great nacho wine. Great with hard cheeses as well. I've had it with, like an older Gruyere or an older Manchego as well too. Really, really nice cheese wine with that. But even just with dumplings, dim sum, it's a great sushi wine. Pulled pork, and ribs. We are trying the Saumur Les Pouches, single vineyard wine. This is available here in British Columbia. It's a restricted speculative product only available at private wine shops and restaurants. And as mentioned before, this is a fantastic wine if you like Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, but you want to try something different, but not too different. It's a great interpretation of dry Loire Valley Chenin Blanc for not very much money. This is a great bistro wine. It's something, that you can drink throughout the week or when company drops in. What else have we got this week? I think that's really about it for our feature wine. Lots of wine still in the pipeline. If you are if you are a wine shop or a restaurant, don't forget that the Container World warehouse in Richmond is doing their inventory count starting, I believe it's this Friday or Saturday. So they're going to be closed down for a week. So not much else going out right now. If you haven't put your orders in, there's going to be a bit of a slowdown for a wee bit there for that 1 week. So hang tight and it'll start to flow again. What have we got in the pipeline? We've got some Bordeaux wines arriving. We've got some more German wines arriving. Actually, we've got a little bit more of Saumur les Pouches. We've got a reload order just about to touch down. Probably, I think that comes in on February the 11th. So we always keep stock of this wine. We bring in hundreds of cases of it. That's the way, it's a bit of an economy of scale. The more we bring in, we can reduce our price of shipping a wee bit. But this is sort of wine we always have on hand. So it's a great wine. You can count on it always being in stock, which is great. I don't think, in 20 years, I don't think we've had any stock outs of this wine. But it's definitely a bread and butter item. As I mentioned before, our Lopez de Heredia wines, ultra traditional Rioja wines have arrived and they started going out. Pretty much all of our allocation has been spoken for. If you're interested in anything, please drop me a line. You never know, things do happen, and some wines do become available. You can DM me here on Instagram or drop me an email at christian@waldorfwine.com. And that's Christian with a KH, KHRISTIAN @waldorfwine.com. Hey, as I mentioned before, if you have not done so already, I do invite you to follow us here on Instagram. It's a great way to keep up to date. I send out lots of Instagram posts and feeds and stories and things like that, trying to keep you all up to date here with what's going on with Waldorf Wine Group. And we'd love to have you join us here on our wine journey, as it were. Anyway, I'm Christian. So glad you could join us here. Take care. Hope to see you soon. Take care and bye for now.